If your child is going to school, let your child look like £1,000,000. Let your child look good. Oh, I screamed because I remember the pain. So I shouted. I told her, yes, this is what she did. So I screamed. When did screaming also become an offense in this country? It's better that we all go back home and we continue our life there. I was insisting that no, the child is abused. Abuse comes in any form, and they're going to raise it to safeguarding, and social services are going to come to my house. My sister, my brothers, I explained tired, no evidence. When they examined the child, there was no bruises, no injury, nothing. Hey beautiful people, how are you all doing? I know you are doing well. See guys, you guys have to start teaching me tricks on how to look good after working hard. I wasn't born for hard life, I was born for soft life, you know. So anytime I work a little bit harder, my face gets the acne, I look so wrinkled, I look older than my age, I look like an orphan, but I'm not. You guys know that my parents are both alive, you know, and they're going to live for long. But this hard life, I don't appreciate it. Thank you. I need a soft life. All right people, I'm doing this video. See, you see the traffic at the back there? Don't dream to live in a city, please. If you live in a countryside, appreciate it, because this kind of traffic, you'll be away from it, you'll save your life, you live longer. To stay in a traffic like this, never, never, never. These are some of the reasons why this whole city life issue is becoming boring to me, because I need to live that baby girl life, you know. Anyways guys, if you are new to my channel, my space, hi, my name is Becca. I'm a migrant nurse. I'm originally from Ghana, GH, in West Africa, and I'm practicing in the United Kingdom as a registered nurse. See, I had to park my car somewhere and walk home, and as I was walking down home, a message just dropped to me. I'm from night shift going home and I'm stuck in mad traffic. Anyways, a message just dropped to me concerning African parents in diaspora and losing our children to social services. It has happened to me. I ended up in safeguarding. By the grace of God, the issue was resolved seamlessly. However, I realized that lots of African parents, as per statistics and as I was even told during the safeguarding process, that they know, or they over the years, is African and Asian parents that are only or always in this kind of situation. And after this incident, I spoke to quite a lot of people, Asians and, you know, African Ghanaians alike, and everybody I spoke to had an experience. Not even a single person. In fact, my own manager I currently work with, she also had the same experience when her kids were young. So I realized that no, this is a trend. This is like something that my community, you need to be aware about. So on the 20th of July, I had a distress call for my daughter's school. One of my daughters had an incident and I was called. When I went to school, when I went to answer to the call, I went to the school. I was sent for safeguarding. A safeguarding was raised against me. But I will discuss that at the end of the video. Now, what I want all parents, or all black parents, or all migrant parents basically in UK to understand is that when you come here, the systems are different. I did a video where I was talking about why I left my kids back in Africa, and people in the comment section saying all sorts of things. Listen, I wasn't even ready for any of those people. Listen, be ready before you bring your child here, mentally, physically, economically, emotionally, financially, in every aspect of life. Otherwise, you will struggle. I am telling you the truth. Thank God my situation didn't reach that stage. But you see, that trauma, that stage, that anxiety that I went through for the past few 2 to 3 days after that incident, I don't want it to happen to anybody. So safeguard yourself before you are taken to safeguarding. If I say this, what do I mean? When you're taking your child to school, I realize that this problem is usually common in children who are in reception and year 1 to 2. which we call the key stage 1, right? So when your child is in these stages, their mind is not fully developed. There are a lot of things they don't understand. I have safety tips or safety talk with my children, but I don't really concentrate on my little because she was just 5 years. She just turned 6. I felt there were a lot of things that she won't understand. Those are the kind of minds that are capitalized on. Those are the kind of minds that are easily manipulated. So if you are doing your safety talks, even your little ones who you think would understand anything, have safety talks with them. Let them understand what needs to be said in school and what does not need to be said in school. Sometimes they feel that they are saying something to protect mommy and daddy, but that thing they are saying rather puts mommy and daddy in a big trouble or in a big situation. Number 2, if your child is going to school, let your child look like £1,000,000. Let your child look good, oh. Braid their hair if they are females, if they are boys, if it's low cut you want to do, if you want to braid their hair, whatever you want to do, but make sure they're looking good. Their uniforms are well ironed, they are neat, they are changed either every day or every other day. Have spare uniforms. Groom them properly, hygiene, brush their teeth, bath them properly, pomade them, cream them, and also dress them according to their weather. So if it is cold, let them have their jackets on. If it is hot, let them have their either check uniform or a lighter uniform. Let them look good. Personal hygiene. Number 3, if your child has an injury from home, report it. Report it to the school and report it on time, especially if it's an injury that ends up with a bruise or a broken skin or a skin tear or anything. You see, when your child goes to school and they get hurt and they bring them home, they'll write you a note to say that, oh, during playtime your child got a bump, he got hurt, he got this, the child got hurt, the child got a bump, and that's why we are writing you this note. They will tell you the date, the time, whatever happened, and the first aid treatment that they did for that child. Same way, those notes that they've written to you, keep it very safe. If your child also gets hurt from home, tell them in school, oh, she got hurt due to reason A, B, C. This is why she got this bruise, this is why she got this broken skin. Yeah. Also, if your child is sick, act promptly. If your child is sick, let them go to the GP. Register your child with the GP. I'm home now. Okay, I think I'll just sit down and continue the video. All right, guys. So if your child, hey Jesus, I look like an orphan. It's my 3rd night, is it 3rd or 4th night on the stretch, and I tell you what, anytime I work like this, I look really crusted. Anyways, let's go on. So if your child is sick, act promptly, have them register with the GP, follow up. However, don't report to the hospital every time for minor things, because when something happens, they pull your child's history. If it's a child that is frequently visiting the hospital, they want to know, why is this child always visiting? Is it that the child is not being well looked after? Yeah. Also, feed your children well. Let them grow well, gain weight when necessary, because their weight and height is taken in school. Just yesterday, I had a letter. I even have to respond to this letter after this video. I had a letter saying that they are going to be weighed and measured in school, so I can opt in or out, blah blah blah. So they are going to be measured and weighed in school. Your child, they converse with them a lot, especially this reception and year 1 and 2 children. They chat with their children a lot. They ask them questions. You know how these people can ask you questions, indirect questions that you answer and say things that you don't even know that you've said them, because the child is a child and wouldn't know. Train your child on conversations that does not need to be, responded. Me, after this incident, I told my little one, if anybody asks you anything about mommy, about anything about this house, tell them I don't know. Ask my mom. Because I don't appreciate or I don't understand why an adult will take a child and be asking them adult questions. Like how do people operate? I don't know. But I don't know. Mothers in the community, can put them in the comment section, because the stories I heard from people when I interacted with them, mine was just a walkover because of the way I handled the situation, which I'll talk about pretty soon. And what else? Yeah. And also make sure your child is always happy when they're going to school, always cheerful, involving when they need to, participate in school activities and all that. Don't give room for anybody to think that there is a loophole somewhere to give a doubt. That is what saved me. There was no evidence whatsoever after the issue was raised. No evidence at all, which is not because I cleared any evidence, but because there is none. I take good care of my kids. Anyway, so on the 20th of July this year, which is just about 3 months ago, I came for my night duty as usual. Baby girl was resting. And then I woke up to a lot of calls and messages from my child's school. So the message said, could you speak to the family worker? I was like, family worker? Usually if my child is sick, it's the school office that will call, or the class teacher, whatever. Not a family worker. So I realized there was a problem. So anyways, I rang the family worker. And then I told her, yeah, I had a message that you wanted to speak to me. Yeah, I went. It was just before closing time. So I went, and then, no, on the phone, before I even went, no, let me just say it again. Before I even went on the phone, she was like, oh, we have an issue that we have raised a safeguarding concern, and it's about your daughter. And I said, what is it about? Has he got hurt or anything in the school? She said, no, it's because your child said you smack her at home. I said, wow, this is not even an issue we should be talking about over the phone. So I will appreciate if I come over, because I understand safeguarding and I know what it entails. So I would appreciate if you can give me some moments of your time. I'll come over to your office and then we talk about it. So she said, all right. I just drove straight to the school and then I went. So I asked her, how did the conversation start? Because I wanted to get my own evidence before I jump into any conclusion or say anything. Because that time I was boiling, I was fuming within me. Me smack my child. For what exactly? What has the child done? How did the conversation start? I wanted a root cause analysis, and I don't appreciate the fact that you've taken me to safeguarding for something that I might not have done. But anyway, for the avoidance of doubt and for the fact that she's doing her job, she needed to do it. And for those of you who don't understand, safeguarding is to protect a person who is vulnerable in best interest. So if it's an elderly person who has not got couples mentors, or if it's a child who is below the age of 16 years, and that child raises a concern, or somebody raises a concern concerning that child or that adult who is not physically able to take care of themselves independently, then that becomes a safeguarding concern. I have worked in A&E. I still do some A&E shift here and there. I work in a nursing home as a senior staff. I understand safeguarding fully well. I know the rules concerning or governing children. In England, you can smack a child. Quote me anywhere. And I'll tell you, this even came up in the conversations, yeah? So you can smack a child in England. However, you should not smack them with an object. And you shouldn't smack their private parts. So if it's a female, the breast, the back toes, and the VJ at the front, you shouldn't smack it. And their head, the face and head, you shouldn't smack. You can smack anywhere else, but not with an object. And also do not leave a mark. If you're in Scotland, Northern Ireland, and Wales, no physical contact at all. Now what they are doing is that the law in England says, yes, you can beat a child, you can penalize, smack them, whatever, but don't leave a mark, don't do it with an object, don't be their private part. But they are trying to stop it. With time, it might happen. I don't know when, but as it stands now, you can discipline your child in that regard. But which parent will even be their child when the child hasn't done anything? It doesn't even make sense. Anyway, so I asked her what happened for all these issues to come up. And then she said, there was a conversation in your child's class because one child did something. And whilst the teacher was at it, trying to tell the child to stop, the child was still doing it on and on and on. And your daughter was trying to tell the teacher that don't report this child to the mom. What he's doing is very silly, but don't report him. And then they asked her, why do you think he shouldn't report? They said, because sometimes when you tell the moms what we do in school, they take us home and they smack us. That is how the conversation, I was told, started. So the teacher just forwarded my child to the social service, to the family worker, and then they probed further. They asked her, so what happened? On what instances did mommy smack you? What did you do? Blah, blah, blah. Anyways, she said her own stuff, whatever. And then one thing that she added was that I screamed on her. I screamed. There was a particular day I screamed on her and she was shaking. She thought I was going to beat her, blah, blah, blah. So I said, good. So then I asked the family worker, so what does the law say about smacking a child? Well, I don't smack my child, but I want to get to a point. I want to raise a point. What does the law say about smacking children? So then she said, she confirmed what I know, that you can smack a child, but you don't beat them with objects, you don't do this, yada, yada. I said, right. I haven't beaten my child. What I know I did was that what made me scream, they broke my 75 inches curved TV. And I will show the TV on the screen. The TV was broken. I was in bed asleep when one of them ran to me and said, Mommy, the TV is broken. I thought it was a joke because there is this feature on the TV that you can turn on that makes it look like it's broken, but it's not. And sometimes they used to prank me like that. So I thought it was a prank. I was like, why would you wake me up just to prank me? She said, Mommy, I'm not pranking you. This is true. I didn't even run downstairs. I look in my camera. So I've got cameras in the house. I look in the camera and realized that the TV was black on one side. I came downstairs and realized that lo and behold, the TV is broken. I screamed. I screamed because I remember the price of the TV and how long it even took me to buy a TV, because I wasn't interested in buying any TV that's this expensive. And planning to buy another TV to replace it just because it's broken, a TV that is barely a year. I screamed. So I shouted. I'm not even going to lie about it. So after I shouted, I put her in the naughty corner. And a day before, 2 days before, she has cut my cushion with the scissors, all these childish things. But anyway, I know that with time, children grow over these issues. So I put her in the naughty corner where she sat there with her sorrows in her eye for a while, and then she slept off. About an hour or two later, she woke up, ate her food. Life continued. I even replaced the TV with an 85 inches TV. So I told her, yes, this is what she did. So I screamed. When did screaming also become an offense in this country? You people should allow us to train our children, I beg. Please, you people should allow us to train our children. If I tell you the process I used to bring these kids here, I'm not ready to lose any child to social services. That is why I am doing my best to look after them. However, that does not prevent me in any way not to discipline my child. That is the last thing I will do, to see my child go rotten to a extent that I can't use that child to do anything. Then it's better that we all go back home and we continue our life there. So as I was trying to explain, this woman was not, she wasn't buying in. She was insisting that no, the child is abused. Abuse comes in any form, and they're going to raise it to safeguarding, and social services are going to come to my house. My sister, my brothers, I explained tired, no evidence. Then I remembered that I have cameras in the house. Why did I invest in buying cameras? For what? It's to keep an eye on things that I cannot keep an eye on. So yes, I told her, all right, do you know I've got cameras in my house anyways, where I record everything that is happening in my children's life, and I can release all my footages for you. And then you show me where exactly this child looks like an abused child. Thankfully, when they examined the child, there was no bruises, no injury, nothing. My child is a very happy child. We always go to school on time. We do our assignments. We go on trips to make them happy. Every school trip, they are there. They look neat in school. Like there was no evidence. Anyway, she said once the issue has been raised by the child, it means it has to go through the process. But what they were going to do is that they will not send it to social services as yet because there was no physical evidence. However, they were going to keep an eye on the child and myself anytime I'm doing school drop-off and pick-up. They were going to observe the child closely to see if there were any signs. And some of the signs are what I have mentioned. A child not looking well groomed, feeling sick and not unhappy. So they were going to look out for all of these things. And then if there is any trigger, concern, they were going to escalate it. However, they were not going to forward me yet to social services. By the grace of God, I don't live a fake life. I continue my life as normal. Till today, no issue has been raised. My child is still going to that school. When the issue happened, I told people who were around me, my friends and all that, they were like, no, you change the school immediately, because once issues like this start, that is how everything is going to escalate. They'll give you problems with the school. For me, deep within my heart, I knew that I have not done anything to be taken anywhere. So I kept the case in the school. That is where they are still going. In fact, that is why I've just dropped them off to come and sit here to do this video. So what am I trying to say? The reason I'm doing this video is After all these incidences happen, anytime I meet parents, I try to raise awareness and tell them, listen, you have to stand firm as a parent, because I know people whose children were taken from them for no apparent reason. Sometimes it's not the parents' fault, but because they can't defend themselves, it is what it is. So I tell parents, keep cameras in your house. Children will forever be children until they grow to be sensible. My first daughter, second daughter, I will not have problem with them because they have passed that stage. But it's only this little one who doesn't really know how things, work. That is where the problem comes from. So I met this Zimbabwean couple, and the child was very hyperactive. He had a son, like 4-year-old, and the way he beat the child, both in front of me, I was like, uncle, please be calming down. You see this child, he can put you in a deep mess. One day you beat him, you'll be very angry, you beat him with an object and he forms a mark. That is your end. You're going to go through hell and back before you can defend yourself, because that one you have, there is evidence. So don't let these children, he couldn't understand what I was saying because that child is 4 years, he hasn't started school yet. He was trying to say, no, he's troublesome. I said, uncle, be calming down. So the reason I'm doing this video is to throw more light. African parents, Asian parents, parents, immigrants, parents in diaspora. Let's be careful. Let's look up for our children. Let's cover our children. Let's cover our homes. People will ask your children questions that they can't ask you. So tell your children, if anybody asks you a question that you feel this is way beyond, you tell them, ask my mom, ask my dad. And also do all the things I've said, and keep your family happy and keep your family safe. And may we never lose our children to social services in the mighty name of Jesus. Let me hear a big amen in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for watching, for constantly coming back to the channel. And until we meet again in my next video, guys, bye-bye.